Welcome back to Filmmaster Reviews. I'm Adam J, bringing you my review of Transformers Rise of the Beast. For future content on this channel, please click that like button and that subscribe button. It's no secret to those who have seen my past videos that I am not a big fan of the Transformer films. I have barely enjoyed any of them. Transformers 2007 was passable at best, Revenge of the Fallen was dog shit, Dark of the Moon was actually pretty decent, and both Age of Extinction and The Last Knight are two of the worst films I have ever seen, period. However, a couple of years back, there seemed to be a light in the tunnel with Bumblebee, which was actually pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. And I just accepted that this was as good as we were gonna get with a live-action Transformers movie. After all I'd suffered, I was prepared to just take that and call it a win. Now, Transformers Rise of the Beast is in theaters, and I had heard mostly positive things. The days of base Transformers are over, they said. Best Transformers film ever, they said. If you love Beast Wars, you'll love this movie, they said. And I said to myself, wow, maybe they finally cracked the code. Maybe they finally made a great Transformers movie. I gotta see this right now. Guys, Transformers Rise of the Beast fucking sucked ass. If this is what's passing for a solid movie, is it any wonder why studios are barely trying anymore? With a few exceptions, of course. Now, let me just say a few positives about the film, before I get into all my negatives. Pete Davidson gets a few funny lines as Mirage. Not every joke lands, but he managed to get a few laughs out of me. Anthony Ramos does very well with what he's given. He is a charismatic lead and does a fine job. I was actually enjoying his character in the first act of this movie too. I liked the story with him and his brother at first. I will also say that in terms of action, this is maybe one of the better ones because you can actually see the action. There isn't a lot of needless crap obstructing the screen during the fights, and you can always see what's happening. That being said, none of these positives saved the movie for me. I had so many issues with this movie in terms of story, adaptation, plot, character, and even the fan service. So let me start out by saying this. I grew up with Beast Wars. That was the Transformers of my generation. So when I heard they would finally be introducing the Maximals, I was ecstatic. Finally, I get to see the Transformers I know. I get to see the Transformers that raised me as a boy. Good old Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Rat Trap, Black Arachnia, Rhinox, bring 'em on! Alas, my hopes and dreams were dashed by a script that could give two shits about the Maximals as characters. Forget about the fact that everything regarding who the Maximals are is completely non-existent here. That's the least of it. The real problem is that they're barely in the movie. I mean, this is called Rise of the Beast, right? We're the fucking beasts. The Maximals feel like an afterthought, something they threw in at the last minute. Kind of like what they did with the Dinobots in Age of Extinction. I was so excited to see these characters, and in the end, only two of them get to do anything. Primal does nothing but spout exposition, and Airazor gets a few shining moments here and there, but the rest of them, shit. Cheetor gets maybe 3 lines in the entire movie, and I don't even think Rhinox got a line. You could have replaced the Maximals in this movie with lifeless planks of wood, and you would still have the same movie. Transformers, The Rise of the Wood. There you go. They did the Maximals so damn dirty, and there aren't even any Predacons here. The fuck is that shit? Now, this isn't to crap on the performances of Ron Perlman and Michelle Yeoh, who portray both Primal and Airazor respectively. I think both of them do fine work with what they're given. I'll even go a step further. I think the whole cast does well with what they're given. But here's the thing. I could say the exact same thing about Revenge of the Fallen. Speaking of which, this movie and Revenge of the Fallen have pretty much the same plot when you break them down. Replace the Fallen with Unicron, Megatron with Scourge, the death of Optimus with the death of, no spoilers here, and the Matrix of Leadership with the Interdimensional Key, and yeah, it's pretty much the same thing with less juvenile humor. As I said earlier, I did like the storyline with Noah and his brother at the start of the film. I thought that was interesting, but the film abandons that pretty quickly, opting to give Noah a love interest instead. A love interest he has absolutely no chemistry with, which makes the rest of his endeavors seem tired and boring. Optimus Prime in this film is actually sort of a dick, especially to our main protagonist, and it seems out of character for him. Not as out of character as, say, Age of Extinction, I'll kill them all, Optimus Prime, but it's up there. And don't even get me started on the tease at the end of the movie. I couldn't care less about that. If I'm being honest, I don't see this film being a success. Personally, I think the box office for this is gonna fizzle out because there's simply nothing special here. And believe me, I wish there was. With Michael Bay gone and with how good Bumblebee was, I was really hoping we'd turn this around. Alas, as good a director as Steven Caple Jr. is, and he is, He could not make this lazy and tired script work to his advantage. I really do hope this doesn't hinder his career at all. Overall, I know a lot of people are liking and defending this one, but I'd honestly put this about on par with Revenge of the Fallen. Mostly because, again, they have the same plot. I gave Fast X a D, and I like this a little more than that film, so I'll give Rise of the Beast a D+. Again, there are some good things in it, some cool action moments. The acting's fine, but the script is just not there. So if you've seen this movie, if you have, please let me know in the comments, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more.